Welcome to Unit 1.7. This one is all about distributive property. I'm going to teach you how to distribute things, and then you're going to combine the last lesson with this one. You're going to distribute and then combine your like terms. Distribute means to share, to pass out, right? So you're going to distribute what's inside, you're going to distribute what's outside the parentheses to what's inside the parentheses. So, for example, A times B is AB because two variables smashed together means multiplication. Plus A times C, right? So you distribute it inside the parentheses. You do the same thing with negative, but you have to be super careful, right? A times B is AB. A times negative C is negative AC. You just distribute what's outside to what's inside. Right? So, 7 parentheses, x plus 4 parentheses. So, feel free to make the arrows. It helps. 7x plus 28. Distributed. Parentheses are gone. This is one of those things where we know order of operations has to do what's inside the parentheses first, but we can't do anything inside the parentheses because they're not like terms. So instead we start by distributing what's outside the parentheses to what's inside the parentheses. And if you grasp this concept, it will save you so much drama in the rest of this class, next year, the year after that. This concept is huge through all 3 years of the next math. So, odd numbers. Negative 4 times y, negative 4y. Be careful with your negatives. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. If you let them, the negative signs will ruin you. Negative is debt. Debt is the devil. Positive odds only. Negative invisible 1. There's an invisible 1 there. There's never just a negative sign by itself. So invisible 1. Negative 1 times y is negative y. Negative 1 times negative 9 is positive 9. Be careful with your negatives. Negative 4 times negative w is positive 4w. Negative 4 times negative 10 is positive 40. This is where we talk about that negative times a negative is a positive again. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Negative x times negative y, or that one's silly. Negative, nope, still silly. X times y is xy. X times 4 is 4x. When you're writing it, you should put the coefficient and then the variable. It's called a coefficient because they work together. And if you, I'm not even going to give you a bad example. It should be coefficient then variable. Number then letter. Okay? 6a times b is 6ab. And 6a times 2c, alphabetical, is 12ac. Right? Alphabetical. Doesn't matter how much is in the parentheses, you just keep distributing. X times 2y, 2xy. X times negative 5z, negative 5xz. This is where you try to figure out if you know your alphabet. X times 1 plus 1x or plus x. Either way is fine with me. Alright, and then just because it has a fraction doesn't mean you need to panic. Right? So you're just distributing it. So we're multiplying. 1 times 3 is 3. 6 times 5 is 30. 3 over 30x. And then, remember, if you're multiplying fractions, they both have to be fractions. Right? So now you're multiplying this. So 1 times 18, 6 times 1, right? Can this be simplified? Absolutely. Both of them can be divided by 3. You're left with 1 over 10x. Don't lose the x. Can this be simplified? Absolutely. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Now you know why we spent all that time learning about multiplying fractions again. Now you know. Alright, so let's do both together. Let's distribute and combine. Mine did it too. To simplify an expression means to ensure that there are no parentheses and no like terms. This is important. You want to simplify until there are no parentheses and no like terms. In order to do this, distribute first if needed, meaning if there are parentheses. That's why they put it in parentheses. Then combine your like terms. Alright, so parentheses, distribute first. 8 times 2x is 16x. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. And then you just bring down the negative 6x. It's not in the parentheses, so you don't distribute to that. You just bring it down. Now you can combine your like terms. 16x minus 6x is 10x. Bring down your negative 24, and that is your final answer. That is your final answer. Alright, again, be careful. Invisible 1, invisible 1. Go ahead and put the invisible ones. I promise you it will help until you get used to it. Alright? Distribute. So bring down your 10. And it's going to be negative y plus 6. Bring down your negative y. You notice I didn't bring down the invisible 1. But you can put them there if you want to. I don't have a problem with that. Negative y minus y is negative 2y. 10 plus 6 is 16. Just like that. And 23. Woo, look at all those fractions. Let's play. Alright, distribute first. Bam. 9 over 4 times 10 over 3 is 90 over 12. Don't forget the x. Put this over 1. 9 times negative 4 is negative 36 over 4. I'm seeing a pattern here of a lot of things we can simplify. We'll get there. Alright, and then we have negative 1/4 times 2x. Put it over 1. Can't multiply a fraction unless they're both fractions. When you figure that out, when you make that connection, you'll be able to do the over 1 in your head. Alright, so negative 2 over 4x. And then negative times a negative is a positive. Put it over 1. 1 times 8. 4 times 1. There's a lot of things that can be simplified here, so that's what we're going to do first. There's a lot of things that can be simplified. Alright, so 90 over 12 you can divide by 3. 3 goes into both of them. 6. 6 goes into both of them. Remember, you're looking for the greatest common factor. I think 6. Because 6 would, if you divide both by 6, 90 over 12 divided by 6, you end up with 15 over 2. I think that's right. So now we have 15 over 2x. 36 divided by 4 is 9, so we have minus 9. Negative 2 over 4, they can both be divided by 2. 2 over 4 is half. 2 is half of 4. So minus 1/2, because 2 over 4 is 1/2. And then 8 divided by 4 is 2, so plus 2. Now we just combine our like terms. 15x minus x. Thank goodness the denominator is already the same. Phew. 15x minus 15 minus 1 is 14 over 2x. Negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. 14 divided by 2 can be simplified. Now you're down to 7x minus 7. I know it looks insane, but go slow. Take your time. Think of all the tricks and shortcuts we've been learning so far. You can apply about 7 of the shortcuts that I taught you already into this one problem. Take your time. Keep doing it until you get it right. Do it on scratch paper if you have to. Do it on completely separate paper. Do it in your notebook. I don't care. Keep doing it until you can figure out how to get this to this. Because if you can get this to this, you're already ahead of the game. Alright, and this was your guided notes. So up next, practice sheet.